It's just a week ago. Go Cubs! Woo!
It looked like the Cubs may have lost it. The momentum had shifted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then out of the heavens,
the rains came.
The rains, right? It was 10 or 12 or 13 minutes. It wasn't long, but what happened in that period of time?
They were able to just take some deep breaths, settle down. The other team, the Indians, Cleveland Indians, actually lost their momentum.
Indians lost their momentum, and the Cubs de-stressed.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to relax for a few minutes, go back into the dugout, go play in the rain, relax, have some fun, and that's what is working your goal is all about.
And when I think about that, they both saw, and they both teams, all players, both managers, they felt it. They saw it, they felt it, and they tasted it. They both wanted it so bad.
Oh, and both are great teams.
Yeah, definitely. It was an awesome series. So again, we're talking about different actual happenings of that we may not think about as a goal, but we have to set those goals for everything that we want to accomplish. So focusing on 2017, for those, we all in business should be starting to plan for 2017. I know when we do it, you have, I believe it's 5 steps in the process.
That's
so
correct.
Would you want to start sharing those 5 steps? Step 1, what is that first step in the process of actually setting that goal?
My first step, is being exactly clear with what you desire to achieve. That's first one. We can't go anywhere else until you know what you want. So, but you it's not just knowing I want to add an extra $10,000 a year to my income. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's how do I add an extra $10,000 a year to my income? Can I do it in my current employment situation that I'm in? Do I need to look for a promotion so I get out of my current situation to a better situation with the same organization? Or do I need to find a really good headhunter and find a whole new company to drive forward with? All 3 of those are very good options, but all require different plans. So when you look at setting your goal, I want this extra whatever it is in your mind. You have to come into steps, and the first step is you have to be extremely clear in what your desire is to achieve.
So you need to see it, feel it, and taste it.
You need to see it, feel it, and taste it.
That goes back to that. Yeah,
that's what I go.
That visual.
And when you go through the see it, feel it, taste it, when you get your physical symbol that comes to you, like I said, the tingles, on that, you'll understand just instantaneously what you're dealing with, how it feels, what's going on. There's no doubt about right or wrong. You're right, because it's about you and it's about your goal.
And I know for myself, when I am thinking of what it is that I desire, and I'm very specific at what I want to achieve, I need to see that visual in front of me all the time. So is this where maybe developing what we call a dream board would really come in handy? I mean, putting that visual in front of you on a poster board and putting it in front of you and seeing it at your desk. I know that you have a sign in your office, and I have a sign in my office that has an income amount that we look
Correct.
at every single day. And that keeps us moving forward. When we feel like giving up, when we feel like, oh my gosh, I'm just so tired.
When I go, I really want to go in here and see what's happening in the election, but I got 3 more phone calls to make my quota. What do?
You look at that visual, that way you can really keep it in front of you.
Those are one of those micro choices that you have to make.
Mm-hmm.
But that micro choice has really, really important implications.
Mm-hmm.
If you're calling prospects to grow your business, or you're calling existing clients or customers to grow your business, that's really important. Do I go in and watch the election at 6:30 in the evening? Well, no, because I know they're not going to be able to call it till at least after 9 sometime. So I'm going to make my last few phone calls. I'm going to accomplish my goal. It doesn't matter whether those phone calls pan out or they don't pan out. And we'll address that in a minute. It's the fact that I said I was going to make X number of calls. In my case, it was 25, and I had to do them. I didn't have a choice unless I violate myself.
So that first step in the process of setting your goal is to be very clear and concise about what it is that you desire and truly want to achieve. So what's the second step, Richard?
The second step is to create or find a plan and duplicate as close as possible to achieve your goal. So,
explain that.
So you either need to create your own plan of action, or you need to find one that's out there. So when you look at this, you find something that works, and this is the trial and error I had mentioned just a little bit ago. You just keep trying it over and over again until you find out what succeeds for you. Because no matter what business you're in, there are many certain ways, but there's only one certain way for you. Because of everything that comes up in you. You know, you have your nerves, your sweat, your anxiousness, your sleeplessness, you know, how confident or unconfident you are. You have all these things. So as you create or find a plan and you duplicate it as closely as possible to achieve your goals, to me, it's an analogous to like a GPS in a car.
Yeah, I see that.
You know,
yeah.
It keeps you on course.
On course.
Turn
focused.
left here, turn right here, take the fork to the right. You know, all of these things come on and put it together, and that's your guidepost.
So your plan when you're creating is actually you're developing like a mind map or a course that keeps you going in that right direction. I guess I don't want to say a course, but you develop that sequence of events or topics or things that you need to do to actually achieve your goal.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's why I bring it back to the GPS. You know, there's multiple ways to get from where we are to where we want to go to if we're driving somewhere. There might be the fastest. There might be the most scenic. There might be the most fun. So which level are you in? If you're on vacation, it might be the most scenic or the most fun. If you're looking to grow your business, it might be the fastest.
And when you're talking about duplicating it, so, you know, you've got your goal and you're doing it once, and if you haven't yet achieved that, you just keep on doing it, or do you tweak it? Do you stop and assess things? Well,
first you keep on doing it. If it's working, you keep on doing it. And then you go into what I call a little bit of an experimental phase, very minor tweaks, little adjustments. If you're given a presentation or a speech, change a word or two, see how the audience reacts. You know, if you're in business and you're doing negotiations, again, try different words in the contract. Try adjusting your tonality when you're speaking to the people that you're presenting to in business.
So again, that plan, very, very vital in the process of reaching those goals. And that is step 2, is to create that plan and duplicate it so that you're working towards achieving your goal.
Yep, and then cement it into your mind where it's just burned in so that it does become that GPS.
Oh, I like that. So, step 3 in the process.
Discover the weak points in your plan. And what I mean by discovering the weak points is every plan can be made better. You know, look at the election cycle that we're in. You can go down to like I said, the president to the dog catcher. You know, there wasn't one strategy that worked the whole time through the campaign. They had to have a number of different strategies. The message, the intent was the same, but each message was tweaked just a little bit. You know, if I'm speaking to Northerners, if I'm speaking to Southerners, if I'm speaking to people in the Midwest, if I'm speaking to people on the left coast, you know, the tonality has to be adjusted to the market that you're going to, but the message does not change. That makes sense. Just a little bit on putting that together. So, you know, when we're talking about this, you look at the two strategies from the political candidates. Trump was out there. He was everywhere, so to speak. Hillary was not. She was there a few places, not nearly what Trump was. So when you look at it, what are the two strategies between those two simple little terms right there? Just the visibility. How visible do you want to be? How visible do you not want to be? One was aggressive and going after you. The other was, I have an advantage. People know who I am. So I just want to maintain certain appearances because I don't want to get into a large public debate and then have people ask me questions I really don't want to answer. So, you know, in that whole thing, both of them were brilliant strategies.
Oh, yeah.
They were both brilliant strategies, and the people and all of that came up with it are to be really praised for what happened.
So what you're saying is within this plan, that's when you're putting the strategies together that you're going to be implementing. And as you start implementing these, that's when you're going to really discover the weak points.
Yes.
What's working, what's not working. So that's where you have to make course corrections. Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, if we're talking about selling, okay, and I go in there and I'm going into professional offices, doctors, dentists, attorneys, CPAs, and those things, and I speak in a certain tonality and I present certain facts, I am going to real quickly learn in 2 or 3 or 4 presentations definitely what's not working.
Exactly.
At that point, I might not know what is working, but I'll have some ideas of what's not working. Then I have to judge what's not working. Is it what I'm saying? Or is it how I'm saying it? Or writing it if you're sending over emails or written documents or those things. So there's always these systems and processes that have to be reviewed and analyzed, and you have to be willing to do it on the fly if necessary.
And that's where it gets into that step 4 of your process, as you say. You know, really
discover what causes any weaknesses and correct it as fast as possible.
And that's what makes online marketing so powerful, because I know in the past, we've been in business since 1998. We've done radio advertising, we've done print advertising, we've done direct mail pieces, and and for those our listeners, print is not dead. You have to look at the big picture for your business, what's going to work and how you're going to reach your ideal client. But with print, there's more of a time factor involved when you're creating that ad. You're also the time maybe 6 weeks out before it actually gets put into a publication, and then you have to wait about 3 months to see if it's really working. So the advantage of online marketing allows you to make corrections faster.
That is correct. The response time is much, much shorter. You know, we go back to our Catch-22 networking event that we're doing in Orlando. Okay. Now, this is going to be right after the first of the year on that. So what we're doing now is we have flyers that we go around to different events and we pass out flyers. Now, am I expecting people to go buy from that flyer? Maybe.
They better listen on Cyber Monday. They'll want to.
Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But my main goal at that point in time is I've handed them something tangible. They're holding this piece of paper, and they're looking at it.